Financial fraud is nothing new. Long before Enron, Wirecard, or FTX, there was one man whose name became forever linked to deception. His scheme was so bold, so shocking, that it gave birth to a term we still use today: the Ponzi scheme. This is the story of Charles Ponzi, the original con artist, who in the 1920s swindled investors out of what would be more than $250 million in today's money. Born Carlo Ponzi in Parma, Italy, in 1882, he dreamed of the wealth his family had lost. At age 21, he emigrated to the United States, landing in Boston with little more than a few dollars. Ponzi took odd jobs, but his ambition was too restless for a slow climb. He wanted wealth and recognition quickly. This hunger would define his life and lead him to crime. Ponzi's early years were riddled with disappointment and trouble. After moving to Canada, he was caught forging checks and served time in a Canadian prison. Later, he was arrested again for smuggling Italian immigrants into the U.S., serving another sentence. By his 30s, Ponzi was a convicted criminal twice over, but he had learned a critical lesson. Appearances mattered. If he looked successful, people would believe he was, and if they believed, they would hand him their money. The postal coupon loophole. Ponzi's infamous scheme began with a seemingly harmless idea based on an international reply coupon. This small voucher could be exchanged for postage stamps. Ponzi realized he could buy these coupons cheaply in countries with weak currency and redeem them in the U.S. for more valuable stamps. In theory, this was arbitrage, a legal practice of buying low and selling high. Ponzi claimed he could generate a 50% profit in just 45 days by trading these coupons internationally. On paper, the math worked. The truth was, the logistics of moving enough coupons to generate millions in profit were virtually impossible. But Ponzi wasn't interested in logistics. He was interested in selling the dream. In 1919, he founded the Securities Exchange Company in Boston and began promising investors extraordinary returns: 50% profit in 45 days, or 100% in 90 days. Word spread quickly. To their shock, the first cautious investors were paid exactly what was promised. Encouraged, they reinvested and told their friends. Soon, thousands lined up outside Ponzi's office with cash in hand. By mid-1920, Ponzi was raking in an estimated $250,000 a day, the equivalent of more than $3 million daily today. He became a Boston celebrity, buying mansions, cars, and tailored suits. The collapse of the empire. Here is the truth. Ponzi wasn't making money through postal coupons. He wasn't making money through any real business at all. Instead, he was using the oldest trick in the book: paying old investors with new investors' money. Ponzi was a master of illusion, always ensuring his office looked busy and professional. He hired agents to recruit more investors, donated to charities, and brushed off skeptics with charm. Whenever analysts pointed out that the volume of postal coupons needed for his profits didn't exist, his investors ignored them. Greed was powerful, and early returns were proof enough. In July 1920, after critical press coverage, his empire ballooned to more than $20 million in investments as panic-stricken investors rushed to get in before they missed out. But the end was near. Federal investigators soon stepped in, discovering that Ponzi had almost no real investments. In August 1920, bank examiners revealed Ponzi owed investors millions more than he possessed. The scheme finally unraveled. Ponzi was arrested, charged with mail fraud, and eventually deported back to Italy in 1934 after years in prison. He died in Brazil in 1949, alone and poor. While he faded into obscurity, his name lives on. Today, any scheme that pays old investors with new investors' money is called a Ponzi scheme. From Bernie Madoff's $65 billion fraud to modern crypto scams, the blueprint remains the same. Ponzi left behind a warning: wealth built on lies cannot last. What can we learn from Charles Ponzi's story? If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Skepticism is healthy. When a business refuses to explain how it makes money, that's a red flag. History repeats itself. The same tricks fool people again and again. Charles Ponzi didn't just con his investors. He created the blueprint for nearly every major financial scam that followed. That was the story of Charles Ponzi, the man who gave his name to the most infamous scam in financial history. Which case should we investigate next? Bernie Madoff, Enron, or the FTX collapse? Tell me in the comments below.